The playoffs are getting closer, guys. Week by week, we're inching towards it, and people are starting to separate. Some people are starting to fall behind. Who are you? You know. God knows. He knows. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start off with AJ and Chad. Chad needed a win to, not AJ and Chad. AJ, you were not a part of this matchup. It was Tim and Chad, so stop being selfish. Chad and Tim. Chad needed a W to keep alive for the wild card spot, while Tim needs a W to keep alive for the wild card spot. So this is a big matchup. And Tim actually ended up edging it out. He had a solid week, 12 home runs, 45 RBIs, 9 saves, 3.7 ERA. But the guys that really showed up for Tim were Jay Hay. Jay Hay had, what the hell here? Where am I? Jay Hay had 12 runs scored, 7 ribbies, a home run, 346 average to 469 on base percentage. That was definitely his player of the week for that. And then we also have to talk about Derek Holland, who's really coming into his own with the the Texas Rangers. So he's really carrying that pitching rotation. Him and Yu Darvish are making a good duo there. And Chad had Torrey Hunter, that old wily vet, just never seems to go away. 3 runs scored, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 368 average, and on-base percentage. So it's always nice to have one of those older guys on your team that you always pick up in the later rounds, and he comes through for you. And then you also have to talk about Bronson Arroyo. That's not what I meant. I meant Homer Bailey, almost a complete game, 6-hit shutout for his start last week for Chadworth. And then Doug Fister came through for the Tigers with 8 innings and 1 earned run. But Chad ended up getting the loss on that one. Both of these guys need to keep winning to keep alive, keep right on Frickin's ass for the wild card spot, because it's still up in the air. Pretty much everything except for the Hank Aaron division is up for grabs. And then our next one will be me and AJ. I had the lead for most of the week, but of course AJ, being that son of a bitch he is, came back and beat the shit out of me 7-3. Neither one of us had really outstanding what are these called? Offensive weeks. Both 17 home runs combined, and then both had 39 RBIs, and then a sub 270 average. AJ's pitching really came through for him this week with a 3.2 ERA, a couple wins, and then a 1.2 WHIP. AJ had Anthony Rizzo, who really came out for him, with the 3 home runs and the 4 RBIs. Pedro Alvarez and Craig Allen and Josh Hamilton all had more than 6 RBIs for him too, so that was good. And then he also had Mike Trout, who got walked 13 times last week. That's twice a game. That's insane. 500 average with a 719 on-base percentage. That's nuts. Though I'm really surprised there's any stolen bases being as speedy as he is. And then his pitching, of course, you have to talk about Jared Weaver being that classic guy that he used to be, 14 innings pitched with a 2.45 ERA. And then Hiroki Kuroda doing his own thing, completes 5 hit, 7 innings with 0-run baseball. And then for my team, I had a tandem of Atlanta Braves go off for me this week, and B-Mac and Freddie Freeman combining both for 5 home runs and 17 RBIs, and then both of them had over a 300 average. But they obviously could not do enough for me to get the win and pretty much knocked me out of playoff contention. So that's shitty. And then I also had Kyle Loesch really come through for me this week with a, where the hell did he go? 11 innings pitched and a 1.64 ERA. So like I said, I'm pretty much out of playoff contention. AJ's pretty much out of playoff contention. We're just sitting in the background dueling it out for a high payoff pick, or first round pick, And then we have Caleb and Dusty. Dusty still doesn't look at his team, but Caleb done got his ass kicked by him. And a fun fact is Caleb's on a 3-game losing streak, very vulnerable at this point in the season. Not the time when you want to start losing, Caleb. You want to roll into the playoffs. And he actually has the most negative stars. So that tells me that Caleb wins, but he also gets his ass kicked quite often. So that's just something to put out there. You know, maybe he's like I don't know, New York Yankees, always good in the regular season, but then he gets there and then not so great. But anyway, so Caleb got his ass kicked. Caleb really had Dustin Pedroia doing the Dustin Pedroia thing. 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Also, Chris Johnson, 1 home run, 8 RBIs. Chris Johnson's going to win the batting title because last week he batted .433. And you know I always got some little bird chirping about the Braves in my ear anyway. So I know all about Chris Johnson, how good he's doing this year. And then Junior Lake, the Chicago Cubs shortstop / outfielder. 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 313 average. Not bad. Not bad for Junior Lake. I've never even heard of this guy. Who are you? Yeah, I don't know. He's only played 16 Major League career games, so that's neat. And then also, he has Yu Darvish. 7 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts. What a freak. And then David Price. Always have to talk about David Price. He's just super, super clutch. And I'm not even going to talk about Dusty because he's worthless. Then we go to our game of the week between Uncle Dave and Firkins. This was a matchup of first round potential in week 1. And Dave actually was losing for most of the week and then must have had a big ass weekend because he came through and won 6-5. Didn't really have any good offensive numbers, 3 home runs, 28 RBIs. But he beat him out in average, on-base percentage, runs. He's had 77 Ks this week. That's fucking awesome. And then 7 saves. Besides that, this is kind of a dud in the water for a playoff matchup. Both of you guys didn't have really solid weeks, so it was more about who could stop the bleeding first more than who can win. So if we talk about Uncle Dave winning, he had Shane Victorino had a hell of a good week for him. 2 home runs, 6 ribbies, a 400 average, and 0 stolen bases. Once again, odd from the flying Hawaiian. Michael Bourne did have 3 stolen bases. That's always nice to have. He had a total collection of 13 stolen bases. That's nuts. Ian Desmond, also have to talk about him with the 4 stolen bases. Had a 125 average with a 300 on-base percentage. So he needs to get his batting average up, and Dave hopes to stay in contention for the Jerry Sandusky Glove of Glove. And then he also had Ervin Santana and... where's the other guy? Well, Ervin Santana had a hell of a week for him. 13 innings pitched, a sub 2.1 ERA with 13 strikeouts. So that's always nice to have that solid pitcher being hot going into the playoffs for Dave. Firkins had Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt's making his case for the MVP because he's carried that team, especially since they decided to trade all their fucking good players away. Jay Up, Chris Johnson. Well, did they just trade to? They just traded somebody to the Padres too. You guys know who I'm talking about. Oh shit, I forgot. Ian Kennedy. They just traded Ian Kennedy. What the hell? Anyway, 301 average, 26 home runs, 89 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. Paul Goldschmidt doing things in the land of the desert. Then we also have to talk about Dickey, Casimir, and Miley all had at least 6 innings pitched with shutout baseball to give Firkins a 2.07 ERA and a .95 whip last week. Still, though, Firkins got the loss. Mad up to Dave's. He needed to get a big win this week. Mates, that's a statement win for you, Dave. Good for you, man. You got the W, and now you are tied in first place in the league. So then we have to go to another really intriguing matchup between Travis and Andy, because Travis needed to get the win to keep up his winning streak that he told me he was going to go on. And Andy, first place in Ricky Henderson division, needed to get another win to keep Travis at bay. Well, this one was a tight one, folks. Final score was 5-5-1. Travis, all you needed was 2 strikeouts more from Alex Wood, and you would have won. Crazy. Besides that, everybody just kind of had soft weeks this week. I mean, nobody really had some outstanding numbers, but 9 home run, like a combined total of 14 home runs. Both had sub 40 RBIs. Seguin ended up winning the tiebreaker with a 2.73 average. So, Travis had Chris Davis. Chris Davis starting to turn it back up. He had 238 last week, but nobody cares about his average at this point in the season. They're just worried about if he can break that home run record that all those other steroid users really use and nobody appreciates. But 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, it's always nice to have. Then he had AJ Pierzynski, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. That's always nice to have from your catching position. And then who else but Clayton Kershaw. So Clayton Kershaw is a freak. Everybody knows that. Good for him. And fun fact for the day, Tom Wilhelmsen from Seattle, relief pitcher, 0 innings pitch, ERA, infinity, boom. Okay, so then we got to go to Seguin here. Seguin's player of the week was Nelson Cruz. Big week for Nelson Cruz before he serves his suspension. And then he also had some really, really, really good pitching from Lariano and Cole Hamels and Fernandez. All of them pitching 6 more innings, giving him that big ol' sub-1 ERA. To give him a 1.68 ERA. So I've seen some solid pitching this week from a lot of people. All of our offensive numbers are a little bit low, but you're going to have that later in the season when everybody's getting tired. So then, of course, we have to talk about standings. Dave, winning the Hank Aaron division, has his magic number is 1. One more win, Dave. You win this week, you're in the playoffs for sure. You'll be the first guy to guarantee yourself a playoff spot. Everybody else, magic number is 4. You guys got to win out, essentially. If you guys would lose out from this point on, you're going to lose your spot from your respective position, which Seguin has Ricky Henderson, Caleb has the Cy Young, and Firkins is leading that wild card spot. That wild card spot totally up for grabs. So is the Cy Young division and the Ricky Henderson division. There's really only 3 teams that are really out of playoff contention, and that's me, Travis, and AJ. All of us are just kind of battling it out to make sure that we're not the dipshits that get last. So that's always fun. And then remaining schedules too, just to give you guys some heads up of what's coming. Caleb, his opponent's combined record is 32-36, so Caleb has an easier record with playing Chad, AJ, Firkins, AJ. So definitely playing AJ 2 times in the last 4 weeks. This is going to help you out, but Chad and Firkins aren't people just to kind of mull over, especially when you're having such an awful streak that you're having, Caleb. Got to keep on top of your game, brah. So Seguin then has a combined record of 36-32 with Dave, Dusty, Travis, Dave. Tough schedule, man. You got the short straw on that one. It's going to be a tough one for you, Seguin, to hang on to that with having to play Dave twice. And I don't really want to talk about Dusty. So Dave, obviously we know he plays Seguin twice, but his opponent's record is 33-35. So he has an easier schedule because he has Seguin, me, Tim, Seguin. Seguin, obviously one of those teams that you can't mull over. He's winning the Ricky Henderson division. And then me and Tim in that, sandwiched in between Seguin. That'd just be easy W's for Dave if he knows what's good for him. So Dave gets a W this week. He's already guaranteed that playoff spot. He'll be fighting for home field advantage. Then Firkins, holding that wild card spot, has a 34-34 opponent record. So Firkins right down the middle of the road. Firkins, ball's in your court, man. You can take it home, or you can pass it off to somebody. Firkins, you got AJ, Chad, Caleb, and Chad left. So definitely that AJ really skews things, but that's not an easy schedule to have. You and Chad are definitely going to battle it out here. Let's be honest. If you lose twice to Chad, he's only 1 game behind you. So then you have to beat AJ or Caleb. So that's that, guys. Shit's getting crazy in the league. Make sure to vote, or else that little Indian boy, I'm not afraid to kill him. And, somebody already voted. Right now we have a dead heat tie between Caleb and Chad. Boom. Shit is crazy, guys. Keep your heads up, especially people that are already out of playoff contention. You know what I just seen? Jerry Sandusky Love Glove. It's beautiful. It's mocking me, but it's beautiful. So keep your heads up, guys. Dave, one more win. You get the win this week. You're in, man. Seguin, Caleb, and Firks, got to keep on your toes. Keep your shit up. you know what I mean, keep it up better than the White House. Because let's be honest, that's not going to be that hard. So good luck, guys. Make sure to vote, and we'll talk to you next week. I apologize for not having the video up yesterday. I made the video twice on my other computer. First time it deleted it. Second time I tried saving it to another place and it lost it. So I apologize for not getting this up earlier, but I'm hopefully you guys are all understanding that, because I have a life too. Okay, so I mean, it's not easy going out kidnapping kids all the time. It's not. It's very, very difficult, and you need. Hey, Chop. Yeah, that's right. Go downstairs and make me a sandwich. Yeah. Yeah, with mayonnaise on it. A lot of it, too. Wow. Ignorant kids. Okay. They just don't show people respect. You know? Like, I mean, Tim knows what I'm talking about. Tim and Caleb. I know, you know, like, so, good luck, guys. Keep your heads up, and hope springs eternal happiness. That's that.